Hey guys, so I'm here making another video about Blanche Macdonald. Recently I've been getting a lot of questions asked about the school, how I like it, etc, etc. So I thought I would just make a video kind of explaining all of the frequently asked questions. So hopefully this helps some people out. I'm just gonna go through my phone, and I have screenshotted a lot of questions that people have asked me. I wrote down some other ones, along with some questions that I had before I started the school. So if there's anything that I haven't answered and you still want to know, just please leave a comment and I'll 100% get back to you, because I know that there's probably a million questions out there and I can't get to all of them, so just let me know. But yeah, thank you for watching, and if you haven't already, please subscribe, like this video, and comment. It really helps me out. And yeah, okay, so let's get into the questions. Okay, so the number one question that I probably get asked most is, do you like the school? So yes, I like the school. I'm almost finished. Actually, I have 2-ish months left. And yeah, I love it. It's pretty much everything that I expected it and wanted it to be. I've learned a lot. And I've met some amazing people. I love my classes and my teachers. So yeah, I definitely do like it, and I would say that it's worth it. And yeah, it's been great. I would say if you want to be a makeup artist, then you should definitely go to Blanche Macdonald. I really, really enjoy it. Another question along with that is, what's your favorite part about it? I would say my favorite part so far has been just having my own creative freedom. The teachers kind of let you do whatever you want. There are certain criterias or whatever for each project, but you are pretty free to kind of do whatever you want. And the teachers are so helpful and they're so knowledgeable. That's something that I really, really like, is that pretty much all of my teachers, or I think all of them, actually work in the makeup industry, in the field right now, whether it be in TV and film or in the fashion industry or in the bridal industry. They all currently work in that industry, so they really know what's going on. They're not just reading out of a book this is what you should expect. They're this is actually how it is in the real world. So I really like that the teachers know what's going on, and they aren't afraid to tell you the pros and cons about working in the industry. And yeah, so I really like that. Okay, so another question that I get asked a lot is it expensive, or is it expensive to live in Vancouver? What's it like? Blah, blah, blah. So yes, it's extremely expensive. The school tuition it's over $20,000. I can't remember how much it is, but it's definitely over $20,000. So that is expensive. And another thing that I didn't know when going into the school, and I really want you to be prepared for this if you're planning on going to the school, is that you have to spend a lot of money throughout the year, because you get your kit, which has amazing things in it, and I'm really lucky that I got that, but there are a lot of things that are not included in your kit that you will need to get. And when you have your final projects for each module, you need to buy all of the supplies that you need for it. You need to supply a costume, you need to pay for the photographer. If you're getting contacts, you need to pay for those. There are so many things that I didn't realize I'd have to pay for, which kind of sucks. I wish that's something I knew ahead of time, so I could have maybe budgeted more for that. So yeah, just be prepared for that. Every photo shoot, you have to pay for the photographer, so that's around $30 to $40. And then if you want contacts, that's another $25. Then you, like I said, you need to provide a costume. So whether you use your own clothes, or you go and buy a costume, or you make a costume, you need to get all those supplies. If there's a certain color that you want, a certain lipstick, or you need glitter, or you need whatever, you have to go buy that with your own money. So that is kind of a sucky thing, but that's just how it goes. So I would say, yeah, if you are planning on going to the school, be prepared for that, budget that, or if you're getting student loans, maybe ask for a little bit more, just so that you can pay for all of that stuff, because it really, really added up throughout the entire year, and I was not prepared for that. Another thing is that living in Vancouver is just expensive as it is. Again, like, I knew it was expensive to live here, but I didn't realize until I was actually here. Rent is absolutely ridiculous. So just warning, if you want to live here, like, it's expensive as hell. I lived right downtown and I was paying over $1,000 a month, and I did not have my own place. I had roommates. I had shared bedroom. I had 2 beds in one bedroom, and we slept in the same bedroom for $1,000. So do not live downtown unless your parents are paying for it, or they're really rich, or you're really rich and they don't care about the cost, because then go for it. Like, living downtown is incredible, and I'm so glad that I got to experience that. But I do not recommend doing that if you're paying for everything on your own, because it's absolutely insane to live downtown. If you're planning on living outside of like the core downtown, it gets a little cheaper, but it's still not by much. I'm living about 20 minutes outside of downtown, like on transit. Well, I'm kind of driving, but I pay $7.30 now, so I mean, it's still expensive. If you want to live like in Burnaby or Richmond or Coquitlam, which are the outside like suburbs, then you'll be paying less for sure. But just, yeah, you're gonna have to have roommates unless you can afford like the $1,000. But yeah, so just be prepared for that. So rent's really expensive. You have to do transit most likely. If you don't do transit, then you'll have a car, but you have to pay for parking anywhere that you go. Downtown is whack. Like, it's so hard to find parking there, and you have to pay a lot. If you have a car, like, your building hopefully has parking, but you'll probably have to pay extra for that. So just keep all those things in mind. Like, everything adds up so much, and it's really, really, really expensive. Plus, I don't know where you're coming from, but there's extra tax here. Like, I moved from Alberta and we only had like 5% tax, and now I have triple that tax here, so that you don't notice it at first, but it definitely does make a difference, the extra tax. So keep all those things in mind. It's really, really expensive to live here, but I mean, it is worth it. Like, it's beautiful, but just keep that in mind. Next question is, how do you like Vancouver? So kind of, yeah, going along with that, like I just said, I love it here. It's a really good city. There's lots to do. It has good weather. I mean, like, it does rain a lot of the time, but it's better than being back in Alberta where it's like -40. There's lots to do. There's lots of people. It's easy to get around. That's one thing that people ask me, is it easy to get around? Yes, it's extremely easy to get around. The transit is so good. You can get anywhere on the train. So don't worry if you have to live in Burnaby or you have to live like far out of the downtown area. You can get here in like 20 to 30 minutes, just depending. It's really easy, so don't worry about that. Yeah, I really love living here. It's fun. The only thing though about Vancouver that I don't like is that I find it's really hard to meet people. Like, the only people that I've met here are people that I go to school with or that I work with. So I feel like everyone kind of has their own clique and they don't branch out from that. So that's one thing, that I haven't really met anybody except for the people that I go to school with and work with. So that's kind of a bummer, but whatever, it's how it goes. Okay, another question that I get all the time is, how did you find a place to live? Okay, so let me tell you, finding a place to live in Vancouver is so incredibly hard. Just gonna be straight out about that. Like, it is so hard. If you go on Craigslist or wherever places are put for rent, there'll be so many listings, but like, as soon as it's posted, it will be gone by the next day. Like, if you're not on top of it, checking every single day and calling and going to see it that day, like, it's gonna be gone by tomorrow, because so many people want to live here and so many people are looking for apartments. So things go so fast, so you need to be really on top of it. What I did when I first moved here, I actually lived in an apartment building called the Viva Suites. I think that's what it's called. It's a student housing, so it's like an apartment building. It's kind of like you're living on residence, like in a college or university, but only students can go there. But it's students from like anywhere. So these students can go to UBC, they can go to Blanche, they can go to like Vancouver Film School, whatever the heck, anything, they can stay there. So you don't like know who you're living with. People just move in at random times. They have like the shared bedrooms and then single bedrooms. So that's where I stayed for about like 3 or 4 months, just because like I couldn't find anything else and I didn't know anybody, so I didn't want to live with like randoms in an apartment, even though I did live with randoms, but it was like students, so I felt more comfortable about it. I don't know. So I mean, I guess look into that if you want. I wouldn't really say it's the best place to live. The management is kind of whack, and like the rooms aren't as nice as they look on the photos on the website, but it was good for the time being. I mean, if you need it for just like a month or two until you can find like a different place to live in Vancouver, I would say go for it, because it is right downtown and it's like an amazing location. But if you can find something else, like I would take that over that. Another thing though, like after I moved out of that place, I moved in with one of my best friends. I met her from like school and work and blah blah blah. So I would say like, yeah, find somebody that you know, and maybe you guys can find somewhere to live. And like I said, just keep checking ads like every single day and go see them the day they're posted. Like you just have to be really on top of it, otherwise things just go like so fast. Next question is, did you have a job while in school? What about like free time? What was your work schedule like, etc.? So yes, I have a job. I work at Sephora and I work 4 to 5 days a week, which is kind of a lot to be in school, but I have to be able to afford to live here. So again, like I said, if your parents are paying for everything, or if you can afford to do it on your own without working, then I would say do it. Like if I didn't have to have a job, that would be sick and I could just do whatever I want. But otherwise, you're going to have to get a job. It's insanely expensive, like I said, so you're gonna have to. School is only 3 days a week, so you're either gonna be Monday to Wednesday or Wednesday to Friday. So that does still give you a lot of time to work throughout the rest of the week. So usually I'll work like either Thursday to Sunday or like Wednesday night to Sunday, just depending. So I do work like pretty much every day that I'm not in school, but it gives me something to do. So I would say definitely yes, consider getting a job. You're probably going to have to. Question, kind of along with like the transit, I've been getting asked, is like, are there taxis, are there Uber, blah blah blah. So yes, there's like 1,500,000 taxis here. Super easy. You can get an app and book one, and usually it'll be here in like 5 minutes, or you can just hail one on the street. There's taxis everywhere, but we don't have Uber here in Vancouver, which really sucks, but I don't know, so just know that there's no Uber. We also do have Car2Go and Evo, things like that, so like the rent a car, where you can just drive around wherever you need to go. If you need to go get groceries or need to go to the other side of the city, whatever, you can do that. Another question, or another thing, if you don't know, you have to be 19 to drink here, just so you know. Someone asked me like, what's the age, what do people like to do on the weekends? Yeah, like a lot of people like to party on the weekends. If you go downtown on Granville Street, every single weekend they close down the street, and then the whole block or whole like street is all just bars, and you can bar hop and party. A lot of people like to go to the beaches, like in the summertime, have beach parties. Gastown, lots of parties. Like, yeah, people really like to party here. How big are the classes? Are there lecture / note-taking portions and tests? Okay, so the classes are usually around like 10 to 15 people, just depending. I think my class was 12 or 13 people, but one person dropped out just because of like personal reasons. But yeah, they're pretty small. They're not like 20 to 30 people in a class, so they're pretty small, which is really nice. Are there lecture / note-taking portions? Yes. You have to take lots of notes, especially when teachers are doing demos. You have to remember how to do it, so you have to take notes. You have to study because there are tests, like written tests. Usually you have a midterm and a test at the end, so be prepared for that. This girl was just asking me kind of about the classes. So I said, I'm just gonna read my response to her. I said, blah, blah, blah. I like it because they teach you a lot of history and things I never knew. There's lots of help from the school to get jobs and volunteer work, which usually turns into paid work. That's something. There's a career department at the school, so they're really influenced on like helping you get a job or get volunteer work for makeup things. And then, like I said, like it usually turns into paid work. So that's something that's really nice. We also have 2 different hair modules. So there's like a bridal and fashion hair, and then there's a TV and film hair. So they like you to learn just a little bit of hair in case, like, say you're doing a wedding, the hairstylist doesn't show up. It's your job to do it. Or sometimes you can get paid a little bit more if you offer the hair and makeup. So they teach you some hair. We have like an entire airbrushing class, which I loved. That was probably my favorite module. They give you the whole airbrush set, like you get to keep it, which is amazing. You get like the gun and the fucking thing. You get everything that you need, the paints and all that jazz, which is really amazing. Blah blah blah. Oh yeah, they also have classes on like working in cosmetic retail. So that's like, say, working at Sephora, working at Nordstrom. They kind of tell you the whole thing about that, which is really nice. It's a good option for makeup artists. You get steady work that way. There's also a class about how to like make a proper resume, how to make business cards, how to like present yourself once you're out in the real world. You also learn stuff about like media and Photoshop and how to take photos of your work and how to properly light your work, again, how to Photoshop your work, all of that jazz. They teach you all of that. Oh, this is another question, just kind of random, but in the like required things, it says that you need to have a camera just for the one media class. That's not actually true. It says it's mandatory, but it's not. It's just because we go out and we like take photos of our work outside, so you can learn how to take them. But honestly, like, you can just share with your classmate. That's what I did because I didn't have my camera at the time. I just shared with my classmate, and that was totally fine. Like, you don't need to go out and buy a camera for that class. Trust me, you're fine. Someone asked, did you have to do an interview before you got into the school? Kind of, not really. Like, once I applied, I had to do a phone interview with my like student advisor lady. She just asked me kind of like questions about myself, what I was interested in, why I wanted to come to the school, all of that jazz, so she could properly see which program would be best for me. And yeah, it wasn't really like an interview, it was more so just like a get to know me. Another person asked me like, how long did it take for me to hear back? Was the registration process hard? No, the registration process is pretty easy. You just have to fill out like the application. Again, like tell them about yourself and what you're interested in doing. And then I think it took like a week or 2 after that, and then they sent me my application, or no, sorry, they sent me my acceptance letter. And then I like, yeah, picked my start date and all that jazz. Someone asked me also, like once they got accepted, the school asks for a deposit, and someone thought that was kind of weird, and they were like, is this real, or are they scamming me? Like, is that what you had to do? And yes, that's what I had to do. They just ask for the deposit to hold your spot, just to make sure that you're actually coming. Since the classes are so small, they don't want to have like a tentatively 10-person class, but then like 6 people are like, jokes, I don't want to go, and then they drop out, and then that class is really small. So they just ask for the deposit to make sure that your spot is held and to make sure that you're actually going. So don't worry about that. If you change your mind, you can get it back, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure you can get it back. So be prepared for that. Yeah, so think I answered most of the questions that I get on a regular basis. Hopefully I helped you. If you had any questions, let me know if I didn't answer something, and like I said, just please leave it down below and then I will 100% get back to you. And yeah, feel free to message me on here or on Instagram. I'll link my information in the description box, because a lot of people do message me on Instagram asking me questions. So yeah, feel free. I am there to help out. And yeah, if there's other specific like Blanche Macdonald videos you want to see, I will make those as well. I was seeing maybe if you wanted me to kind of make like a whole overall review of the school, like my final thoughts from start to finish, everything. So let me know if you want to see that, and I can totally make that as well. Awesome. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. Again, like I said, if you liked this video, give me a like, give me a comment, and subscribe, because it helps me out so much and it lets me know that you like my content. So thank you again. I will see you next time. Bye.